Welcome to a special edition of Daily Blast Live. So what does it take to live to be 100? Today, we are diving into that very question by talking with experts, doctors, and a centenarian. That means you live to be 100. Pretty cool. We're going to hear their secrets and give you the tools to live longer. So would any of you want to live to be 100? Tori?
Yeah. If there's a camera, always. I would love to, especially if Brooksy was there. I need Brooksy there.
Your husband?
Yes, on the front porch.
There, you would want
looking
to.
at over my land.
Okay, over your land.
Mm-hmm.
Jeffrey, would you want to be 100?
Not if I'm doing this job.
You love it.
Yeah. As long as I was healthy and active and lived a nice lifestyle, for sure.
And hopefully your kids are still alive.
Well, yeah. Thanks for throwing that in there.
I'm just saying, like,
Hopefully I'd have both legs. Yeah, that'd be nice too.
My point of saying that is, Erica, I don't know if I'd want to live to be 100 if my kids had already passed on. That's all I'm saying. What about you?
Yeah, well, that's my plan.
Okay.
I had, I think, 98, 96, 95, pretty much like my great-grandparents' age.
Oh,
so,
okay.
yeah.
Genetics for Erica. Mark's grandmother, Bubby, still alive, 100 years old, Holocaust survivor. So Mark's got a long trajectory. Hopefully I can keep up.
That's good.
Which has nothing to do with your family.
Well, it's my grandmother-in-law, but yeah, I see what you mean.
Yes.
Okay, our first guest has spent nearly 20 years exploring longevity hotspots around the world. They are called the Blue Zones, and there's an entire series on Netflix dedicated to them. Before we chat with him, take a look.
I have found that most of what people think lead to a long, healthy life is misguided or just plain wrong. What if we could reverse engineer longevity?
Ooh, please welcome to DBL speaker and best-selling author Dan Buettner. Dan, huge fan of that series, by the way. I'm so honored to have you on. We all are.
Yeah, love that documentary. Dan, your Netflix docuseries travels to 5 different blue zones, they're called, around the world. What is a blue zone? What qualifies these places to be labeled as such?
They're places where either people reach age 100 at the highest rates or they have the lowest rate of middle-age mortality. In other words, they have the best chance of reaching a healthy age of 95. And the project, National Geographic project, originally set out to, in a sense, reverse engineer longevity. Instead of looking for secrets in test tubes or petri dishes, we found real populations, real people who are making it to their 90s, 100s without chronic disease. And then we learn their common denominators, the lessons they have for the rest of us.
Amazing.
So in your new book, The Blue Zones, Secret for Living Longer, you have included a new blue zone. Well, here's the question. Where's it located?
Ooh.
And why was it added?
The island of Singapore, the island nation, we've seen their life expectancy drop by or rise by 20 years in one lifetime. They have the longest healthy life expectancy in the world. And what's amazing, it's the result of a very conscious effort. In other words, their longevity has been engineered, and they offer American policymakers, even at the city level, by the way, very clear ideas of what our local politicians could be doing, our local city council and mayors could be doing to help us live longer, better lives.
Wow. Well, let's talk about the secrets we learn from these blue zones. What do people mostly eat in these locations, and why does it help them live longer?
So if you want to know what a 100-year-old ate to live to be 100, you have to know what she was eating as a little girl in middle age and newly retired. And to get at that, we aggregated 155 dietary surveys done in all 5 blue zones over the past 100 years. So we knew what they were eating in the 40s and the 70s and the 90s, et cetera. And when you average it all out, you see very clearly about 90 to 98% whole food plant-based. The 5 pillars of every longevity diet in the world are whole grains, greens or garden vegetables, nuts, tubers like sweet potatoes, and the cornerstone of every longevity diet in the world is beans. And if you're eating a cup of beans a day, it's worth about 4 extra years of life expectancy.
I feel really powerful right now as someone that usually gets made fun of for having a whole food plant-based
plant-based diet. I feel
I love
very
you.
seen.
You're right on track.
I feel seen. Thank you.
Well,
I'd rather live happy.
We're not mutually exclusive.
Wow. How much does exercise play into this? How do people stay fit, and is it important to make sure that you are exercising?
Well, I mean, I'm a little disruptive on this point. I believe exercise is a failure in the United States. Fewer than 25% of us get even 20 minutes of it a day. In blue zones, they're staying active mainly as the result of their environment. They live in places where every time they go to work or a friend's house or to school, it occasions a walk. They have gardens out back, which keep them weeding or watering or hoeing or harvesting almost every day. And their houses aren't full of the mechanized conveniences that we use to do our work. They're still doing yard work by hand and housework by hand. And that all adds up to moving every 20 minutes, which is more akin to how we evolved as a species than thinking we could sit at our desk all day long and making up for it at the gym, which we never do anyway.
Right, so sedentary. I wanted to ask you, speaking of your environment, about the social aspect of it. I know I'm sort of really struggling and wanting to reach out more to, imprint my social interactions more. How important is that and a community when it comes to living longer?
I'd argue it's the most actionable thing people watching right now can do. We know that if your three best friends are obese or unhealthy, there's a 150% better chance you'll be overweight. Oh, wow. Alcohol abuse, eating poorly, all contagious behaviors. If you curate a group of, say, 3 friends whose idea of recreation is pickleball or skiing or bicycling, who care about you on a bad day, and it's not a bad idea to have a vegan or vegetarian in your immediate social network, because they're going to show you how and where to eat delicious plant-based food. And that's probably 60% of the formula right there.
Or they're going to poke fun at you.
No, Dan, we joke around with Sam a lot, but I'm so curious about this because I'm always trying to adapt new lifestyle changes in my life, right? So you mentioned something, you have to go back if a woman lives 100 years to what she ate as a child and then when she retires. What if I want to change what I'm doing right now? Can I add 4 years to my life just by eating beans like you suggested?
Yes, so that's a very good question. If you're 20 years old and you move away from a standard American diet to a Blue Zones diet, whole food, plant-based, it's worth about 13 years for a male. Wow. Even at age 60, and I know you're not 60 yet, but even at 60, if you make that change, it's worth 6 years of life expectancy. And for an 80-year-old, it's worth 3 years. Wow. So it's never too late to start making the changes and adding good years to your life.
Wow, that is powerful.
So
very
hopeful.
It is, absolutely. Dan, thank you so much for joining us on DBL today. And to our viewers, to learn more about how to live to be 100, you can grab a copy of Dan's book, The Blue Zones: Secrets for Living Longer, wherever books are sold. Thank you again, Dan. Congrats on all your success.
See you at 100.
Yes.